Been freed on bail by a court in London after being charged over an alleged assault in a nightclub in 2023. The court gave the American musician permission to continue with his scheduled international tour, which includes UK shows in June and July. Let's speak to our news correspondent Greg McKenzie, who's been following this story throughout. Greg, good to see you. What were the conditions of bail?
Well, there were strict conditions, Lucy, in terms of the bail that was granted today in a London court, Southwark Crown Court. Now, just in terms of background, Chris Brown was arrested last Thursday in Manchester in the early hours of the morning by Metropolitan Police officers who were tipped off that the singer had arrived in the UK. Now, he was wanted for questioning in relation to an assault in a nightclub 2 years ago in London. So the singer had flown in to Manchester on his private jet to work on preparations for his tour. He has a number of UK dates, and it was then that the police arrested him last Thursday at 2 o'clock in the morning. He went to court the following morning, and the judge said that he was not going to grant the singer bail, and he was subsequently held on remand in a UK prison, we believe in a Manchester prison. Now, today, his lawyers have submitted successfully a bail application, and the judge at Southwark Crown Court has granted that bail for the singer on the condition that the singer pays £4 million up front and a further £1 million in the next week. Now, that is really a security deposit, if you like, so that if the singer breaks any of the conditions of that bail condition, then he would forfeit the £5 million in total. Now, as for other conditions that have been stipulated, the judge has said that he will allow Chris Brown to carry on with his UK tour dates. So he's due in Manchester, London, Cardiff, Birmingham and Glasgow, and also other dates in the US and Canada. The judge has said he will allow the singer to travel internationally, but he must provide an address here in the UK where he must reside until his next court appearance on June the 20th.
And briefly, Greg, we're seeing pictures of Chris Brown at the moment on tour. He's won a few Grammys. Tell us a bit more about his career and why he's so popular.
Well, Chris Brown is an international platinum-selling artist. He's had numbers and numbers of #1 hits, and an artist that has been in the industry for a number of decades. And many people have watched him grow from a child to a man and be quite successful. He's had a few issues in the past, which were widely reported, most famously the incident with Rihanna back in 2010. And subsequently, he had spent some time, had got prosecuted for that back in Los Angeles many years ago. But moving forward, the singer had apologized and has seemed to be getting his life back on track. And this incident 2 years ago, he's yet to answer to those charges or even enter a plea. But it's widely expected on June the 20th, when he appears at Southwark Crown Court, that he will submit a plea, and he will appear in court on the 20th of June along with his co-defendant Omololu Akinlolu.
So the judge was being very graceful to Chris Brown. Was this good news for Chris Brown? So go ahead, Ronnie. What's your take?
I'm glad that the judge is allowing Chris Brown to continue his tour, because normally, especially when it comes to asking the UK, they'll leave you in there until the trial is about to get ready to begin. So for him to be able to be let go on bail and also to be able to continue his tour, he should be grateful and understand. Don't let that happen again. That's why I'm saying why high when it comes to aspect of these black entertainers. You see, the stuff they do is to put themselves into them type of jeopardy. Why would you go back? Why would you go allegedly go to a nightclub where there's a music producer? You get into a heated argument, get a bottle and smash him on his head. Allegedly. This is what happened with Chris Brown. Big entertainer, worldwide. Everybody know him, worldwide. A national entertainer, but yet get into this type of foolishness. When you have that type of power, that type of platform, stay away out of people's way, man. Live your life, make your money, do what you do. But luckily for him, he was able to get out on bail and continue his tour. But other entertainers wouldn't be too fortunate. Shout out to his legal team and also his RP team too as well to get him out of there. Go right ahead, Kim.
First, I'm gonna say I'm disappointed in the UK. in the London courts. This case is atrocious. I think that you have black entertainers and athletes who are targeted for specific reasons. We haven't heard issues with Chris Brown in years. He minds his business. So to hear that there was an assault case in 2023, then what's even more disgusting that the UK did, they asked the man to put up £5 million up front. That's $6,708,000 in USD as a deposit for your freedom. The UK, is this how we do Americans? This how you show us you love us? You bait us into a fight, then you ask us to put a deposit on our freedom, just like the Boston Tea Party?
Yeah, shout out to Juan say, trouble follows black entertainers and athletes all around the world. That is true. I remember fellas, we covered the Alonzo Ball. He got went to jail in China. We talked about that, but that's been many other things. But going back to Chris Brown, man, it's like I said, when it comes to the judge, he got off lucky. He, like you said, you get to do your tour and everything, but you still got to come back here and and go back to court so they can settle this and everything. So, but this to me this is crazy because I don't think the UK had to do all this when it comes to arresting them because something like this because. I don't think Chris Brown knew about this. Well, he didn't know about this when he come to London and everything. And I think, UK could have sent something to Chris Brown, an email or something, say, hey, if you come back here and in London, you will be arrested or you have to turn yourself in, because of a charge that you have a couple of years ago. But neither of us, he's out now. He can continue to do his tour. And, fans will be happy to see him when it comes to when he does his tour international.
Like, share, and subscribe.